We have been led to believe that all fruit is a gift from nature, an unquestionable pillar of a healthy life. But what if that belief, in its simplicity, is preventing you from achieving true metabolic health? What if some fruits are actually undermining your energy and vitality from within? Most people will just skim this list, but they'll fail to grasp the critical science behind why these fruits disrupt your body's delicate balance. 99% will miss the final chapters, which reveal the powerful strategies to disarm these sugar bombs and reclaim your metabolic power. The secret to enjoying nature's gifts without the consequences is at the end. Don't miss it. Glycemic principles. Our bodies possess an elegant and ancient system for processing the food we eat, a system designed to extract energy and fuel our lives. When we consume carbohydrates from bread to beans to fruit, they are broken down into glucose, a simple sugar that serves as the primary fuel for our cells. This glucose enters the bloodstream, and in response, the pancreas releases a hormone called insulin. Insulin's job is to act as a key unlocking our cells to allow glucose to enter and be used for energy. This is a beautiful natural process, a dance of chemistry and biology that sustains us moment to moment. The conversation our bodies have with food is not about good or bad, but about information. The information provided by some foods, however, can be a shout rather than a whisper. A sudden, massive influx of glucose into the bloodstream, a high glycemic event, is like a flash flood hitting a quiet river valley. The system is overwhelmed. The pancreas is forced to release a surge of insulin to manage the crisis, and this powerful hormonal cascade creates shocks throughout your entire system. This is the mechanism behind the sugar rush, followed by the debilitating crash, the brain fog, the irritability, and the gnawing cravings for more sugar that so many people experience. It's a vicious cycle that, over time, can fatigue our body's finely tuned systems. When our cells are repeatedly bombarded by high levels of insulin, they can begin to ignore its signal, a dangerous condition we know as insulin resistance, which lies at the heart of many modern chronic diseases. This isn't about fearing sugar, but respecting its power and understanding how to introduce it into our bodies in a way that fosters balance, not chaos. The central concept we must grasp to navigate this is the glycemic index, or GI. The GI is a measurement, a score from 0 to 100, that tells us how quickly a carbohydrate containing food causes our blood sugar to rise. Foods with a high GI are digested and absorbed rapidly, causing that dramatic spike we want to avoid. Foods with a low GI are processed more slowly, leading to a gentle, gradual increase in blood sugar that the body can handle with ease. This provides steady, sustained energy rather than the roller coaster of a spike and crash. Many factors influence a food's GI, including its ripeness, how it's processed, and most importantly, its fiber content. Fiber is the antidote. It's the part of the plant that our bodies don't digest, and its presence physically slows down the digestion and absorption of sugar. It acts as a natural brake, ensuring a measured release of glucose into the bloodstream. When we choose fruits, we are not just choosing a collection of vitamins and sugars, we are choosing a specific set of instructions to give our bodies. The fruits we are about to discuss are those that, due to their unique composition, typically high in certain types of sugar and lower in buffering fiber, tend to have a higher glycemic index. They deliver their sugar payload with such speed and efficiency that they can provoke a strong insulin response, disrupting the metabolic harmony we strive to protect. Understanding this principle empowers you to move beyond simplistic labels and become the architect of your own metabolic health, making choices that support your body's inherent defense systems. The list of fruits we're exploring begins with one of the most beloved tropical fruits, the mango. It's a source of incredible bioactive compounds, including mangiferin, which has antioxidant properties, as well as vitamins A and C that support our immunity. We must honor these benefits. However, a ripe mango is also exceptionally high in sugar, primarily fructose, and has a relatively low fiber content compared to its sugar load. This combination means that consuming even a single cup of mango can cause a very rapid and significant increase in blood glucose for many individuals. It scores moderately to high on the glycemic index, placing it firmly in the category of fruits that require careful handling. Similarly, grapes are a fruit whose convenience is its metabolic downfall. While they contain beneficial polyphenols like resveratrol, which supports our circulatory system, they are essentially small sacks of sugar water. A cup of grapes contains over 23 grams of sugar, and because they lack a substantial fibrous structure, this sugar is released into the bloodstream almost immediately. It's incredibly easy to consume a large quantity without realizing the metabolic stress you are inducing. It is this mindless consumption that poses the greatest risk, turning a natural food into a catalyst for hormonal imbalance. The knowledge of a fruit's glycemic impact doesn't forbid its consumption. It invites us into a more conscious relationship with it, where we savor smaller portions and protect the very systems that allow us to enjoy these foods in the first place. This is about working with our bodies, not against them. Tropical offenders. Let us journey deeper into the world of tropical fruits, a category celebrated for exotic flavors and potent nutrients, but one that also harbors some of the most powerful instigators of glycemic chaos. Consider the pineapple, a fruit revered for its unique enzyme, bromelain. Bromelain is a powerful bioactive that has been studied for its ability to help quell inflammation, support digestion, and bolster our immune defenses. This is an undeniable benefit, and it's a perfect example of how food is medicine. But for our bodies to thrive, we must consider the whole food, the complete package of information it delivers. Alongside bromelain, pineapple delivers a very high concentration of readily available sugar. This gives it a surprisingly high glycemic index, meaning it can spike blood sugar with remarkable speed, particularly when eaten alone on an empty stomach. The effect is akin to drinking a sugary beverage, even though our mind categorizes it as a pristine health food. This perception gap is where the danger lies. We feel virtuous eating a large bowl of pineapple, unaware of the hormonal deluge we have just unleashed. This sends a distress signal to the pancreas, demanding a surge of insulin to clear the excess glucose from the blood, initiating a cascade that can deplete our energy and strain our metabolic resilience over time. For an elite athlete, this rapid fuel delivery can be strategic, but for most people, it represents an unnecessary and preventable shock to the system. Our goal is to maintain metabolic peace, not to provoke a hormonal war. By understanding pineapple's dual nature, we can still benefit from its powerful enzymes while respecting and mitigating its profound effect on our blood sugar. Next, we must examine lychees. These small, fragrant fruits are a delicacy, containing a good amount of vitamin C and other antioxidants that help protect our cells from damage. However, they are intensely sweet, and their sugar to fiber ratio is heavily skewed towards sugar. Consuming even a small handful of lychees can provide a concentrated burst of sugar that hits the bloodstream very quickly, producing a pronounced glycemic response. Their small size makes portion control a significant challenge, as it is easy to eat 10 or 12 without a second thought, ingesting a substantial sugar load in a matter of minutes. This pattern of consumption is what leads to trouble, turning a subtle treat into a major metabolic event. We see a similar and perhaps even more significant issue with watermelon. There is no fruit more synonymous with summer refreshment. Composed of over 90% water, it's incredibly hydrating and provides a wonderful source of lycopene, a powerful antioxidant known to support cellular health and protect our DNA. But despite its high water content, the sugar in watermelon is absorbed with astonishing quickness. Its glycemic index is very high, sometimes reaching into the 70s or even 80s, which is on par with some processed snack foods. Because it feels so light and is so easy to consume in large volumes, a few thick wedges can deliver a sugar impact equivalent to a can of soda, provoking a massive insulin surge. It's a classic case of a health halo food, one whose benefits in one area can blind us to its potential downsides in another. The conversation is not about banishing these fruits forever, but about cultivating a new level of awareness and making deliberate, informed choices about portion size and context. Another fruit that warrants our attention is the supremely ripe banana. The nutritional profile of a banana changes dramatically as it ripens. An underripe, slightly green banana contains more resistant starch, a type of carbohydrate that resists digestion and acts more like fiber. It feeds our healthy gut bacteria and has a very minimal impact on blood sugar. As that same banana ripens and develops its characteristic yellow color and brown spots, those starches are converted into simple sugars: sucrose, glucose, and fructose. This transformation turns a low glycemic food into a high glycemic one. A very ripe, spotty banana is a source of fast acting fuel. While it contains potassium and vitamin B6, which are vital for our health, its effect on blood sugar is potent and immediate. Many people add a large, ripe banana to their morning smoothie, thinking they are starting their day with a healthy choice, when in reality, they are front loading their system with a massive sugar hit that can trigger that mid morning energy crash and subsequent cravings. It's a simple switch, choosing a banana that is still slightly green at the stem, that can have a profound impact on your metabolic stability throughout the day. It highlights a critical principle of healthy eating: nature is dynamic. The properties of a food are not static. Our awareness must also be dynamic, adapting to these subtle but powerful changes. This level of discernment is not about obsession. It is about precision and respecting the intricate biological machinery we inhabit. It's about choosing the right information to give our bodies at the right time. The final entry in this category is fruit that has been processed and canned in syrup. While the fruit itself may have started as a healthy choice, such as peaches or pears, the act of preserving it in a sugary liquid fundamentally changes its nature. Canned fruit in heavy or even light syrup is saturated with added sugars, catapulting its glycemic impact into a completely different stratosphere. The processing often removes the skin, where much of the fiber is located, further accelerating the absorption of sugar. What was once a whole food has been transformed into a dessert. Reading the label is non negotiable here. You are not just consuming fruit, you are consuming fruit plus a significant dose of refined sugar, which offers no nutritional value and acts directly against our goals of metabolic health. This category serves as a powerful reminder that how a food is prepared and presented is just as important as the food itself. The journey from the tree to our plate can introduce factors that completely alter a food's biological effect. True health ownership means looking past the marketing on the front of the can and examining the ingredient list on the back. It is this critical gaze that separates passive consumption from conscious nourishment. This empowers us to reject these altered foods and instead choose the whole, unadulterated versions that our bodies are designed to recognize and process efficiently. By avoiding these processed pitfalls, we take a significant step in defending our bodies from unnecessary sugar loads and preserving our long term vitality. It is a simple choice with profound health implications. Deceptive concentrates. We now turn our attention to what is perhaps the most concentrated and misleading source of fruit sugar: dried fruits. This category represents a significant challenge because these foods are almost universally marketed as healthy, wholesome snacks. They are the epitome of a health halo food. Let's begin with raisins. Raisins are nothing more than dehydrated grapes. The process of removing the water creates a product that is shelf stable and convenient, but it also concentrates the sugar and calories into a very small, dense package. Think about the volume. You could eat a small handful of raisins containing 25-30 grams of sugar in less than a minute. To get that same amount of sugar from fresh grapes, you would need to eat a much larger, more voluminous portion, which would be more satiating and take significantly longer to consume. That concentrated sugar hits the bloodstream with incredible speed, prompting a strong insulin response. While raisins do contain some fiber and minerals like iron, this is often not enough to buffer the powerful glycemic effect of their condensed sugar content. They are frequently added to trail mixes, baked goods, and salads, seemingly as a healthy ingredient, but they are often acting as little sugar bombs, silently contributing to the metabolic load of the meal. They are a stark reminder that removing one component of a whole food, in this case water, can fundamentally transform its effect on our body's delicate chemistry. turning a benign fruit into a potent glycemic disruptor. True health awareness requires us to see past the natural label and analyze how the food has been altered and what that means for our biology. This principle of concentration is even more pronounced when we examine dates. Dates, particularly medjool dates, have become the go to natural sweetener in the health and wellness world. They are used to make energy balls, sweeten smoothies, and form the base of countless healthy dessert recipes. And it's true, dates are a whole food. They contain a commendable amount of fiber, potassium, and magnesium. However, we cannot ignore the inescapable fact that they are one of the most sugar dense fruits available. A single medjool date can contain 16 grams of sugar. Eating just two of them is equivalent to consuming over 30 grams of sugar, which is more than some candy bars. Because this sugar is bound within a fibrous matrix, the glycemic index is technically lower than pure sugar, but the overall glycemic load, the total amount of sugar being delivered, is immense. The body still has to process this massive influx, and a significant insulin response is unavoidable. The marketing of date sweetened products creates a dangerous permission structure, leading people to believe they can consume these foods with abandon because they are naturally sweetened. But from your pancreas's perspective, a massive load of sugar is a massive load of sugar, regardless of its origin. This highlights the critical importance of looking at the total sugar quantity, not just the source. Relying on dates as a primary sweetener can inadvertently perpetuate the very cycle of sugar dependence and metabolic stress that so many people are trying to escape. A sophisticated approach to health requires that we hold these natural sweeteners to the same standard as any other concentrated sugar source. The story continues with another popular dried fruit, figs. Fresh figs are a wonderful fruit, offering a creamy texture and a good source of fiber. Dried figs, like raisins and dates, are a different biological proposition entirely. The dehydration process once again concentrates their sugars into a powerful, bite sized package. They are often hailed for their high fiber content, which can aid in digestion, but it's crucial to weigh this benefit against their very high sugar load. A small serving of dried figs can easily elevate blood sugar levels, contributing to that same cycle of spike and crash. They are a perfect example of a food that requires extreme moderation, a food where the line between a healthy portion and a metabolically stressful one is very thin. Furthermore, we must consider dried apricots. While they do offer vitamin A and potassium, they are another classic example of sugar concentration. Many commercially available dried apricots are also treated with sulfur dioxide as a preservative, which can be a problem for some individuals, particularly those with asthma. Beyond the preservatives, the primary issue remains the sugar density. Without the water to provide volume and satiety, it is far too easy to consume an amount of dried apricots that delivers a sugar hit your system simply isn't prepared to handle gracefully. This can be especially problematic for children who are often given these dried fruits as a healthy snack, inadvertently setting them up for blood sugar instability and cravings. The solution isn't to vilify these foods, but to recategorize them in our minds. They are not a free for all snack. They are a confection, a natural candy that should be consumed mindfully and in very small quantities, if at all. This entire category of dried fruits underscores a universal principle. Nature loves water. Water provides volume, it promotes satiety, and it dictates the natural portion size of a food. When we remove water, we break nature's own rules for moderation. We create a super concentrated food that our ancient biology is not equipped to handle in large amounts. This leads us to another offender in this category, fruit juice, and by extension, fruit purees and sauces like applesauce. When you juice a fruit, you are performing a mechanical extraction. You are stripping away the single most important element for blood sugar control, the insoluble fiber found in the pulp and skin. What you are left with is essentially a liquid concoction of sugar, water, and some vitamins. Drinking a glass of apple juice is not the same as eating an apple. It's not even close. You can drink the sugar from 4 apples in 30 seconds, a feat that would be impossible if you were to eat them whole. This delivers a fructose bomb directly to your liver and sends your blood sugar soaring, demanding a powerful and immediate insulin response. Commercially prepared applesauce, even the unsweetened varieties, suffers from a similar problem. The apples are cooked and pureed, breaking down the cellular structure and much of the beneficial fiber, making the sugar far more accessible and rapidly absorbed. This transforms a slow release food into a fast release one. Understanding this distinction between whole foods and their processed, concentrated counterparts is one of the most important pillars of building a truly resilient and healthy metabolism. It's about choosing foods in the form that nature intended, complete with the very components that protect us from their own potency. Seemingly innocent. There is a class of fruits that falls into a particularly tricky category, those that seem utterly benign but conceal a high glycemic potential. These are not processed or dried, they are fresh, whole fruits that many people eat without a second thought, believing them to be purely beneficial. At the top of this list, we revisit the watermelon. Its high water content and refreshing nature create a powerful illusion of being light. We've already discussed its high glycemic index, but it deserves a second look because of the psychology of its consumption. During a summer picnic, it's not uncommon to see people consuming several large wedges. The social context and the refreshing quality of the fruit override our normal satiety signals. This is not about one small slice, it's about the cumulative effect of large, socially accepted portions. The lycopene and hydration are real benefits, but we cannot ignore the fact that for many, a large serving of watermelon acts on the body much like a sugary drink. The key is to shift our perception, to see watermelon not as a free food to be eaten in unlimited quantities, but as a special treat to be enjoyed in small, controlled portions. This mental shift from unlimited refresher to portion treat is crucial for managing its metabolic impact and protecting your body from the unnecessary strain of a massive sugar influx. This mindful approach allows us to enjoy its benefits without falling victim to its hidden glycemic power, making it a part of a healthy diet rather than a threat to it. Cherries also belong in this conversation. They are one of nature's most potent sources of anti inflammatory compounds, containing anthocyanins that give them their rich red color. These compounds are incredibly beneficial for our health, helping to soothe sore muscles, support brain health, and combat oxidative stress. Cherries also contain melatonin, which can aid in regulating our sleep cycles. With all of these remarkable benefits, it can be difficult to see any downside. However, cherries are also quite high in sugar for their small size. A cup of cherries can contain nearly 20 grams of sugar. While the fiber they contain helps to buffer this, they still have a moderate glycemic index and can cause a notable rise in blood sugar, especially when eaten in large quantities. Like grapes, their small size and delicious taste make it easy to mindlessly consume a large bowl in one sitting, leading to a significant sugar load. The solution, once again, is not avoidance but mindful enjoyment. Instead of sitting with a large bowl, portion out a small handful. Savor each one. Appreciate the powerful medicine they contain, but respect their sugar content. By doing so, you honor both the fruit and your own body. This nuanced view, celebrating the benefits while mitigating the risks, is the hallmark of a truly sophisticated and sustainable approach to nutrition. It moves beyond the black and white thinking of good and bad and into a more mature understanding of food as complex information that we can use to our strategic advantage. It is a partnership with nature, not a battle against it. Let's now address fruit that is prepared in a way that dramatically changes its glycemic effect. Fruit smoothies. On the surface, a smoothie seems like the ultimate health food. You're blending up whole fruits, maybe some vegetables, and creating a convenient, nutrient dense meal. However, the act of high speed blending can alter the food in a way that works against our goal of stable blood sugar. The powerful blades of a blender essentially pre digest the fruit. They obliterate the fibrous cellular structures that would normally slow down the absorption of sugar in our gut. This means that even if you use whole fruits, the sugar in a smoothie becomes far more bioavailable, able to enter your bloodstream much more rapidly than if you had eaten those same fruits whole. A smoothie made with a large ripe banana, mango, and pineapple might seem like a tropical dream, but it's a metabolic nightmare, delivering a colossal and fast acting sugar load to your system with very little intact fiber to slow it down. This can provoke an enormous insulin spike, starting your day on a metabolic roller coaster that can disrupt your energy and mood for hours. This doesn't mean all smoothies are bad. A well constructed smoothie can be a great vehicle for nutrition. The key is to build it intelligently, using low glycemic fruits like berries and avocado, ensuring a hefty source of protein from protein powder or yogurt, adding healthy fats from nut butters or seeds, and including a significant source of fiber like chia seeds or psyllium husk. This transforms the smoothie from a sugar bomb into a balanced meal that supports stable blood sugar. Finally, we must talk about the illusion of unlimited fruit. There is a common belief, especially in some dietary circles, that you can eat as much fruit as you want as long as it's raw and fresh. This ideology, while well intentioned, fails to respect our individual biology. While a young, active, and metabolically flexible person may be able to handle larger quantities of fruit sugar without immediate negative consequences, this is not true for everyone. For the vast majority of the population, particularly those who are sedentary, overweight, or already showing signs of insulin resistance, a high fruit diet can be problematic. The constant influx of fructose must be processed by the liver, and when consumed in excess, it can be converted into triglycerides, a type of fat that can be stored in the liver and contribute to non alcoholic fatty liver disease. It can also exacerbate insulin resistance and fuel the very metabolic dysfunction one is trying to heal. This is not an anti fruit message, it is a pro balance message. Our bodies thrive on variety and moderation. A healthy diet includes a wide array of foods, vegetables, lean proteins, healthy fats, and yes, fruits. But fruits should be seen as one component of a balanced plate, not the entire meal. The idea that any single food group can be eaten with impunity ignores the complex systemic nature of our metabolism. True health comes from a holistic approach that honors the power of all whole foods, but respects the need for balance, portion control, and an understanding of how each food communicates with our unique body. It's about creating a personalized, sustainable plan that nourishes us for a lifetime. Protective strategies. Understanding the challenge is the first step, but it's incomplete without understanding the solution. This is where we move from knowledge to wisdom, from theory to practical action that can genuinely transform your health. The most powerful principle for disarming high sugar fruits is a concept I call strategic pairing. You should never, ever eat a high glycemic fruit by itself. Think of the sugar in that fruit as a race car, ready to tear down the track into your bloodstream. Pairing it with other foods is like strategically placing speed bumps and chicanes along that track. By consuming your fruit with a source of healthy fat, high quality protein, or additional fiber, you fundamentally change its glycemic impact. The presence of these other macronutrients slows down gastric emptying, the rate at which food leaves your stomach and enters your small intestine, where the sugar is absorbed. For instance, if you want to enjoy some apple slices, pair them with a handful of walnuts or a tablespoon of almond butter. The fat, protein, and fiber in the nuts will create a buffer, slowing the release of the apple sugar into your system. You effectively lower the glycemic load of the snack, turning a potential spike into a gentle curve. This transforms the food from a potential metabolic stressor into a source of balanced, sustained energy. It's a remarkably simple yet profoundly effective biological hack that allows you to enjoy nature's sweetness without the hormonal consequences. This strategy puts you back in the driver's seat of your own metabolism, making conscious choices that support your body's equilibrium. Another critical strategy is the intelligent use of timing. Our bodies are not static machines. Our metabolism fluctuates throughout the day, and it is profoundly influenced by our activity levels. Our muscle cells are major consumers of glucose. After you engage in physical activity, whether it's a brisk walk, resistance training, or a yoga session, your muscle cells become more sensitive to insulin. They are hungry for glucose to replenish their energy stores. This post exercise window is the most strategic time to consume a higher sugar fruit. That banana or small bowl of pineapple that might have caused a problematic spike on a sedentary afternoon can be used effectively by your body to refuel your muscles after a workout. The glucose is preferentially shuttled into the muscle tissue rather than lingering in the bloodstream. You are essentially giving the sugar a job to do, a destination to go to. which prevents it from causing metabolic mayhem. This is not an excuse to overindulge, but a strategic deployment of nutrients. Consuming fruit at this time works with your body's natural rhythms, not against them. Conversely, eating a large amount of sugary fruit late at night when you are most insulin resistant and your body is preparing for rest and repair is one of the least strategic times. Timing is a dimension of nutrition that is too often ignored, yet it holds incredible power to amplify the benefits of your food choices and minimize the risks. By aligning your consumption with your body's metabolic state, you unlock a new level of precision in your health journey. We must also have an honest conversation about portion size. In our modern culture of supersized everything, we have lost our sense of what constitutes a normal portion. This is especially true with fruit. A serving of fruit is not a giant bunch of grapes or an entire melon. A true serving is typically about 1 cup of berries, a small apple, or a half cup of denser fruits like mango. Recalibrating your understanding of portion size is a revolutionary act of self care. It's not about deprivation, it's about respect for the potency of these foods. When you consume an appropriate portion, you get all the benefits: the vitamins, the minerals, the phytonutrients, without overwhelming your system with sugar. A simple way to practice this is to never eat directly out of the container or bag. Portion out your serving into a small bowl. This one simple act creates a mindful pause. It forces you to see exactly how much you are eating. This visual feedback is incredibly powerful and helps to retrain your brain and your habits. When you respect the portion, you are respecting your pancreas, your liver, and the intricate web of hormones that govern your energy and well being. It is a fundamental shift from mindless overconsumption to conscious, deliberate nourishment. This practice alone, even without changing what you eat, can have a dramatic and positive impact on your blood sugar control and overall metabolic health, proving that sometimes the most powerful strategies are the simplest ones. It brings an element of intention and presence to the simple act of eating. Finally, the most encompassing strategy is to prioritize low glycemic fruits as your daily staples. Build the foundation of your fruit consumption on those that are naturally lower in sugar and higher in fiber. This means embracing berries of all kinds: strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, and blackberries. These are nutritional powerhouses, loaded with antioxidants and fiber, and they have a very minimal impact on blood sugar. Make acidic fruits like grapefruits, lemons, and limes your allies. Avocados, which are botanically a fruit, are a fantastic choice, providing healthy fats and fiber with virtually no sugar. Kiwis, pears, and apples, especially Granny Smith, are also excellent choices that offer a wealth of nutrients with a more measured glycemic response. By making these fruits your go to options 80–90% of the time, you create a resilient metabolic foundation. This doesn't mean you can never have mango or pineapple again. It means you recategorize them. They become the treat fruits, the ones you enjoy mindfully on occasion, using the strategies of pairing, timing, and portion control we've discussed. This approach removes the stress and guilt from eating. It provides a clear, sustainable framework that doesn't rely on complete restriction. It's a diet of inclusion, not exclusion. You are simply changing the frequency and context. This allows you to harness the immense healing power of plant foods, to enjoy the diversity of nature's bounty, and to create a way of eating that truly defends your health, stabilizes your energy, and empowers you to thrive for a lifetime. This is the art of eating to beat disease. True health is not born from fear or rigid restriction. It emerges from a place of deep understanding and profound respect for the elegant, intelligent system that is your body. The goal is not to create a list of forbidden foods, but to cultivate a new relationship with all food, one based on awareness. It is about understanding that every bite is a form of information, a set of instructions that can either build you up or break you down. By learning the language of your own biology, you can move beyond confusion and into a state of clarity and confidence, making choices that nourish your vitality, protect your metabolic harmony, and allow you to enjoy the gifts of nature with wisdom and joy. Which part of this gave you a new perspective on a fruit you regularly eat? Let's be honest with each other in the comments.